I also read one of your blog posts where you made a very interesting comparison with the real estate sort of market in the UK, right?
Well, it was the estate agency
Yes.
market at the latter part of the 80s and early 90s, when there was a huge rush to buy every small independent estate agents, and big life companies and banks were going out spending millions. I mean, literally, one-man bands were being bought for millions of pounds, and then quickly, but slowly but surely, it all unraveled. And 5 years later, all these independents reappeared on the high street, and the banks and the insurance companies left the estate agency. I'm not suggesting that is the case today with what we're seeing with the Mancos, but it sort of smells a little bit like that.
I'm sure you've heard about this frantic M&A activities in the management company space. What are your thoughts about it?
Well, it's a bit of a land grab, isn't it, at the moment? Everyone's going out there. And to be fair, my colleagues and we get calls, emails from people saying, hey, can we have a chat? And we say, no, we're not for sale. We're quite happy being a private independent company.
Exactly.
And I think it's, this land grab it's an interesting situation we find ourselves in. My concern really, there's some positives and there's some negatives. The negatives, so I'll leave with that if I may, is that there's less competition, less choice out there. And whilst there's been a lot of Mancos developed, most of those have been proprietary. There's very few new startups or new people come to the market with true independent management companies. And that consolidation means we've got less choice is quite critical for fund managers coming to market, because where do they go? The positives, you're probably aware, the problem with, say, Dublin and Luxembourg, the two markets that we know well, is that they're like villages, and there's a very restrictive number of people. It's effectively you're chasing the same people. Now, with some of these consolidations, with some of these mergers, you will see people let go. Undoubtedly, that will happen. There will be duplication. Not in every case, but there may well be further down the line. So that will ease pricing, the wage inflation, which we've seen significantly in Dublin, where you are paying significant salaries to people with very little experience. So that's quite good. Ultimately, though, where are the benefits to the investors? Where do are investors going to see a change? You might see fund managers be able to push the odd bit from a Manco and say, well, when you're now bigger, you can afford to pay us a little bit more or be cheaper. But are those going to be passed down to the investors? I'm not too certain that will be seen and coming through in the fund expense ratios and OCFs.